You step into an evening that seems ordinary, yet every gaze freezes on you, the child once dismissed as a failure. Beneath the glow of crystal chandeliers, a golden plaque engraved Ross family gleams on the heavy oak door. Your father looks stunned, your mother nervously adjusts her pearls, and your sister's lips curl with doubt. How could you, the one they thought was barely surviving, arrange something so lavish? What they don't know is that tonight, the truths you've hidden for years will unravel, shattering every assumption they've clung to. And the question hangs in the air. When the truth comes out, will your family ever see you the same way again? If you are ready to follow this journey to its end, a gentle like or subscribe will be enough to stay with us along the way. You settle into the high-backed chair, the soft velvet pressing against your shoulders, yet nothing about this moment feels comfortable. The golden light from the chandelier above spills across the table, illuminating crystal glasses and porcelain plates, as though you've stepped into a stage built for a grand performance. But this script you know too well. It is the same one that has played out countless times before, only dressed tonight in more expensive clothing. Your father sits across from you, his brow furrowed, his eyes sharp and questioning. He tries to mask it with curiosity, but you recognize the look is the same one he wore when you told him about your first job, the same one that always demanded an explanation. Beside him, your mother fiddles with her necklace, a habit she has carried since you were a child. The pearls glint under the lights, but her silence speaks louder than any word. She is uncomfortable, and you know why. Then your sister leans forward. Her perfume drifts across the table before her words cut into the air, coated with sugar yet sharp as glass. This is beautiful, but are you sure it's practical? Close quote, she says, her smile polite, her tone calculated. She is the one who always positions herself as the authority, the example, the standard you are expected to follow. Tonight, she is dressed in a tailored suit, her confidence worn like armor. And now, she reminds you without needing to say it directly that she believes you are out of your depth. Her husband nods in agreement, his gaze sliding across the silver cutlery, the imported china, the heavy linen. Impressive, close quote, he murmurs, though you sense the undertone. He is not complimenting you, he is measuring, calculating, assuming that every detail is beyond your reach. He glances at his watch, then back at the room, as though waiting for the illusion to crack. Your brother joins in. Fresh from business school, his voice carries the arrogance of numbers. This place must cost a fortune, close quote, he mutters, eyes narrowing. You can almost see him doing the math in his head, calculating the monthly revenue of the restaurant, estimating what a meal here would mean for someone like you. To him, your life has always been an equation, and you have always come up short. The comments sting, though they should not surprise you. You've heard variations of them for years. At Christmas, he gifted you a career advice book, highlighting passages he thought might guide you towards stability. At Thanksgiving, your sister suggested you take an entry-level position at her company, something with real benefits. Each remark, each kind suggestion, close quote, another reminder that they believed your life was small, precarious, fragile. And yet, you sit here, calm, hands folded neatly on the table, smile poised as though none of it matters. Inside, however, you feel the familiar tightening in your chest. The weight of their assumptions presses down, heavy and unrelenting. Still, you let it pass. Because tonight is not about their doubts. Tonight is about something else, something far greater. The waiter arrives with menus bound in leather. Your sister reaches for one instantly, her fingers quick, decisive, claiming control before you can move. I'll take care of this, close quote, she announces smoothly, as though you are incapable of choosing. The implication hangs between you. But tonight, you don't let it slide. You slide your hand forward, gently but firmly taking the menu from her grasp. The smile on your face is polite, but your eyes are steady. I've got this covered, close quote, you say. You scan the familiar list, one you have seen many times before, and make your choice. The Chablis Grand Cru 2018, please, close quote, you tell the sommelier. The silence follows. Her brows lift sharply, her eyes flashing with disbelief. That's a $300 bottle, close quote, she says, her voice sharper now, her tone no longer wrapped in sweetness. You meet her gaze. It's Dad's birthday, close quote, you reply calmly. Nothing but the best. For a moment, your father looks at you differently. His hand reaches across the table, his touch light, but filled with something you have rarely seen directed at you. Pride. The menus are distributed, and soon, your brother blurts out the cost of the meal, $500 per person. He stares at you, his mouth open, waiting for your mask to slip. Your sister's husband leans closer, whispering something to her, both of them watching you as though expecting you to falter. But you don't. Instead, you excuse yourself briefly, saying you need to speak with the chef about your father's allergy. You step away, the air shifting as you walk toward the kitchen. And that's when you hear it, their voices, drifting after you like daggers thrown into your back. What is she trying to prove? Close quote, your sister hisses. probably maxed out her cards, close quote, her husband mutters. Maybe she's dating the manager, close quote, your brother laughs. The words pierce, sharper than you expect. You pause by the wall, your hand pressed against the cool surface, eyes closed as the comments sink into your skin. You've heard these things before, in different forms, but tonight they feel heavier. Tonight they cut deeper. And then your father's voice. Steady, quiet, firm. She's always been thoughtful. Let her do this. The words wrap around you like a fragile shield. For the first time in years, you feel him defend you, even if only in a whisper. You breathe in slowly, letting the scent of saffron and truffle from the kitchen remind you why you are here. This night is not about proving anything. This night is about celebrating him. And yet, you know deep inside that something larger is unfolding. When you return to the table, your sister tilts her head, her smile dripping with false concern. Palmer, is this really in your budget? We could go somewhere more appropriate. Her husband joins in, gesturing around the room. We don't need all this. Harold's fine with his usual steakhouse. Their voices blend into a chorus you've lived with for years, criticism disguised as advice, dismissal wrapped in care. And yet tonight, you see the pattern more clearly than ever before. They are not worried for you. They are invested in the image they've always held of you. The struggling sibling, the fragile one, the one who never quite measured up. But that image no longer fits. You sit taller, sip your water, and remind yourself of what matters most. Tonight is your father's birthday. He deserves joy, not another battle. Still, the storm gathers, and you can feel the shift in the air. The first course arrives, lobster served on delicate china. Your sister complains about the cost even as she eats it. Your brother gives you unsolicited advice about building a real client base. Your mother suggests you look at apartments in another neighborhood. Each comment is another weight pressed upon you. But inside, something changes. You begin to smile not bitterly, but knowingly. Because tonight, you are not the person they think you are. Tonight, you will show them. The black card in your purse feels heavier than ever, waiting for the moment when silence will no longer be enough. And as you lift your glass to your lips, you think, they will finally see you. So tell me, have you ever sat at a table where every glance, every word, reminded you of how little others believed in you? And have you ever felt the fire inside, knowing one day you would reveal the truth they never imagined? Share your thoughts in the comments, I'd love to hear your story. And if you want to walk with me further into this journey, tapping like or subscribe will ensure we continue unraveling this story together. You return to the table with a calm smile, as if you never heard the whispers that trailed behind you. But inside, every word they spoke still lingers, sharp as tiny needles piercing the armor you've worn for years. You sit down, lift the napkin and place it gently on your lap, maintaining the image of perfect composure. No one can guess that your heart is pounding, or that in this very moment, you've decided tonight will be different. Your sister leans closer, her tone honeyed but heavy with judgment. Palmer, are you sure you can really handle the cost here? Maybe we should have chosen somewhere more sensible. What sounds like concern carries the weight of a verdict. Her husband adds without hesitation. Yes, Harold's fine with his usual steakhouse. No need for all this show. You glance around the table and see it clearly, the unspoken agreement in their eyes. They have never believed you could rise above a small, fragile image they've painted of you for so long. Instead of replying, you simply take a sip of water, letting its coolness remind you to remain steady. The first course arrives. Seared lobster served on delicate hand-painted china. The aroma fills the air, and your father nods with approval, his face softening. But just then, your sister cuts in again. You know, I make 6 figures and I wouldn't waste money like this. Maybe you should think twice. You hear her words, but you don't let them break through. This time, something inside you is shifted. For years, these remarks would have forced you into silence, but tonight you recognize them for what they are: illusions they built for themselves, not truths about you. Your brother, never one to miss an opportunity to teach, chimes in. If you really want to build something sustainable, focus on corporate events. They're more stable than these small gigs. I could connect you with a few people. It sounds rehearsed, like a passage copied from a textbook. Yet while he lectures, you know he has no idea of the scale of what you already manage. Your father tries to redirect the conversation. Palmer, why didn't you tell everyone about that charity event last month? Close quote. But before you can respond, your brother interrupts again, brushing off your work as a hobby. The table sinks back into the same familiar cycle: criticism disguised as advice, judgment wrapped in concern. This time, however, you are not avoiding it. You are preparing for it. The main course is served. Prime cuts of beef, roasted salmon, dishes crafted with flawless precision. And yet, as your family tastes them, they still find ways to complain. Too extravagant, too unnecessary, too far beyond what they imagine for you. When the server finally places the leather-bound folio on the table, the tension spikes. The moment everyone has been waiting for, the moment when, in their eyes, your illusion will crack. Your sister moves quickly, reaching for it as if it naturally belongs to her. "I'll take care of this. Palmer can handle the tip if that's not too much." Your brother smirks at her remark, while her husband leans back, speaking loud enough. Your sister breaks the silence first. "Is that fake? You can buy those online. They look pretty real." You lift your eyes to hers, meeting her stare with steady calm. "It's real." The server takes the card, and in that instant, his demeanor shifts. His posture straightens, his tone softens, and respect fills the space between you. Your family watches in disbelief, their confusion thick in the air. Moments later, the general manager himself approaches. His voice carries a deference that cannot be mistaken. "My apologies for the delay, Ms. Ross. The verification is complete. And congratulations, Ross's signature events left quite an impression with last week's gala." The governor still speaks of it. His words thunder across the table. Every glance turns to you. The disbelief in their eyes deepens into something heavier: shock, awe, and the shattering of assumptions they held for years. Your father sits frozen, your mother covers her mouth in astonishment. Your sister, once so poised, falters in silence. Your brother stares as if recalculating every figure in his head, but the math no longer adds up. You remain still, composed. You lift your glass, taste the wine, savoring not the sweetness of triumph, but the freedom of truth. And beneath the crystal light, you smile. The air in the private room falls silent after the metallic sound of the black card landing on the linen tablecloth. Everyone sits frozen, their eyes fixed on you as if they are suddenly seeing a stranger. But you know the truth: you haven't changed at all. Tonight, you've simply chosen to stop hiding. The restaurant manager's footsteps fade as he withdraws, leaving your family in stunned quiet. Your father clears his throat, his eyes searching yours for an explanation he doesn't yet have. Your mother still covers her mouth, as though she has stumbled into a dream she cannot reconcile with reality. Your sister, usually so composed, struggles to steady her lips. And your brother, the one who always measured life in numbers, stares at the table, as though every calculation he's ever made about you has collapsed. You place your glass back down, the crystal ringing softly. Your voice is calm, deliberate, cutting through the thick silence. "Maybe it's time I told you what I really do." The table holds its breath. You begin at the very start, painting the picture of your early days. You tell them about college nights spent drafting event proposals on a borrowed laptop, about printing flyers in a cramped dorm room, about whispering your ideas into the dark when no one believed they were worth anything. What they thought was a hobby was, for you, the seed of a dream. You speak of your first client, a small tech startup that needed a launch party. They wanted something modest yet unforgettable. You worked tirelessly, shaping every detail until the night arrived and exceeded every expectation. That was the first spark, the moment you knew this was your path. Your father leans in slightly, his expression shifting. Confusion begins to give way to recognition, as though the puzzle pieces of your life are finally falling into place. You continue, your voice steady but laced with emotion. "In the beginning, I had 2 part-time assistants. We worked out of a storage warehouse in Evanston. Some nights, I ate instant noodles just to make payroll. But I never stopped. One step at a time, we grew. 6 clients in the first year. 15 the next. Then the breakthrough came when we landed the Healthcare Leadership Summit. That event changed everything. After that, Ross's signature events was no longer just a small name. The room is silent, except for the quiet clink of glass somewhere nearby. Your brother looks at you differently now, his usual smirk gone, his MBA confidence shaken. You go on, speaking of the contracts that followed: Fortune 500 conferences, museum galas, donor concerts for symphonies. The scale kept expanding. From thousands to millions to tens of millions. You lift your eyes and meet each gaze at the table. Last year, we produced 78 events across 17 states. Revenue was over 50 million. Your mother gasps softly, her eyes filling with tears. Your father clasps his hands together, his shoulders trembling with pride. In that moment, you see it, the pride you've longed for, written across his face at last. But you're not finished. You speak of the Business Chicago profile, of how they estimated your personal net worth at 33 million. You mention the award your company received, the Event of the Year honor from the Industry Association. Every word peels back another layer of doubt, another false assumption they had carried about you. Your sister lowers her head, her lips trembling before she finally speaks, her voice rougher than usual. "All these years, you just said you were fine or busy. Why would you hide all of this from us?" Close quote. You take a quiet breath before answering. "Because I wanted to be loved for who I am, not for a number in my bank account. I didn't want our relationship to turn into comparisons, or transactions, or envy. I just wanted to be your sister, your daughter, without all the weight." Your words fall not as an accusation, but as a simple truth. And in that truth, the silence deepens, heavy yet strangely cleansing. A tear slips down your sister's cheek. Your brother sits motionless, his hands gripping tightly as though he's holding onto a world that is slipping away. Your brother-in-law, the one who so often added fuel to every criticism, looks away, unable to meet your eyes. You study them all, not for victory, but for clarity. For the first time in years, they are finally seeing you. I haven't changed, close quote, you continue softly. I'm still Palmer. Still your daughter, your sister. The only difference is that tonight, I chose not to hide anymore. Your father suddenly reaches across the table, his hand closing around yours, his eyes wet. His voice cracks. I'm proud of you. 3 words so simple, so long awaited that they almost undo you. You have waited your entire life for this moment, for this acknowledgement. And now, finally, it is here. The table remains hushed. No laughter, no dismissive advice. Only the gravity of truth, heavy yet luminous. You lean back, sip your wine, and realize something profound. You no longer need to prove yourself. Everything is already there, undeniable. Tonight, you are seen not as the fragile shadow they once assumed you to be, but as the person you've always been. Capable, determined, whole. And you know, with absolute certainty, that after tonight, your family will never see you the same way again. Have you ever sat at a table where every word cut into an old wound? And have you ever longed for that one moment, just one, when the truth would rise and silence every doubt? Share your story in the comments. It may be the very spark someone else needs to find their own voice. And if you want to keep walking through stories like this, full of quiet power, heartbreak, and revelation, pressing like or subscribe will be enough to keep us connected, without interruption. After the words "I'm proud of you" was spoken, a long silence enveloped the room. No more whispered jokes, no more skeptical glances. Everyone sat there, as if they had suddenly realized what they had been blind to all these years. The truth of who you are. You draw in a deep breath, letting the air mingle with the scent of vanilla from the birthday cake, and the delicate trace of expensive wine. The moment feels strange, almost intoxicating. It is the taste of freedom. For the first time in years, you no longer need to hold up the walls between you and your family. Your mother is the first to break the silence. Her voice trembles, not with anger, but with regret. We never really asked you. I thought you needed guidance. I thought you needed steering. I was wrong. You turned toward her, your gaze softening. She doesn't look at you now with the wary eyes of the past. She looks at you as a mother who suddenly realizes that love can sometimes cloud listening. Your sister wipes away a tear. She inhales sharply, trying to collect herself, though her voice is raw. You know, I was jealous of you. Watching you live so freely, as if you didn't care about titles or promotions. While I kept climbing, proving, pushing. I thought I was winning, but I didn't understand you at all. Her confession lands on the table like glass shattering. Never before has she admitted weakness in front of you, yet here she is, her eyes glistening with the vulnerability she has always hidden. Your brother is not immune either. He sits still, hands clenched together, before finally exhaling. I always thought the only road to success was degrees, business school, stable jobs. I never saw that you were already carving out something greater, in your own way. I underestimated you. I was wrong. You listened to each word, not seeking apology, not demanding repayment. You simply want them to see the truth, that you never needed their approval to exist, but you always longed to be seen for who you truly are. Your brother-in-law, the one who had often chimed in with cutting remarks, now sits in silence. At last, he raises his head, his voice lower than usual. Maybe I was wrong to dismiss you. I just thought event planning was about little parties. But what you've built, it's an entire world. It isn't quite an apology, but it's the closest he has ever come. The dinner continues, but the tone has shifted. No sarcastic laughs, no thinly veiled barbs. Instead, there is a quiet contemplative air. Each of them eats in thought, every bite of the refined meal, no longer a symbol of extravagance, but of change that can't be undone. When the final dessert arrives, a towering cake adorned in gold leaf, your father chuckles, eyes misted with tears. This is the best birthday I've ever had. Not because of the fine food or the wine, but because I finally got to see you, truly see you. You sit there, heart trembling at his sincerity. All these years waiting, and the words you long for finally spill from his lips. You know the path forward will not be simple. Old wounds cannot heal overnight. But tonight has planted a seed. In every glance, every word, every clasped hand, you can feel it. Something has shifted. You look around the table, seeing clearly. Your sister's unease, your brother's reflection, your mother's remorse, and your father's pride. What matters is not how awkward they feel now, but that they have begun to see you with new eyes. You speak slowly, with quiet conviction. I don't expect everyone to understand everything in one night. I just hope that from now on, when you look at me, you'll see me as I am, not through the old lens you've held for so long. The room falls quiet again, but this silence is different. It is not heavy with judgment. It is filled with listening, with the possibility of change. You raise your glass, clink it gently against your father's, and glance at the rest. We are still a family. And I believe, from here on, we can begin again, this time on truth. Your father's eyes shine with emotion. He nods, his voice rough. You are right. This is what family is meant to be. Outside, the city of Chicago glows against the night sky. Lights dance across the lake, glimmering like 1,000 fragments of glass. And inside this room, among the very people who once made you feel small, burns a new light. The light of truth. The light of recognition. The fragile spark of a beginning. You sit taller, your heart lighter than ever before. No more explanations needed. No more proving. Tonight, you opened a door. And behind that door lies a path your family never imagined and can no longer deny. That night ended not only with the glow of candles flickering on a birthday cake, but also with the quiet light reflected in the eyes of every family member. You left the restaurant carrying something you had never felt before: relief, freedom, and the certainty that the years of hiding were finally over. No more lowering your head under comparisons, no more deflecting trivial questions. For once, they had seen the truth, and more importantly, they had chosen to embrace it. In that silence, you understood something profound. What we often need most is not validation from the world outside, but the simple nod of recognition from the very place we call home. And when that recognition arrives, even the deepest distances can be bridged.